Hello YouTube, Korahor back again with another video. In today's video, taking a step away from my current build to talk a bit about two things, which is going to be Darkness and the state of it with Acolyte Chayula, and then the private league that I am launching on June 13th. Right now we have about 50 players interested. I'll leave a link to my Discord in the description. Just go ahead and uh, hop into the Discord. The poll is closed, but if you're interested, you can send me a direct message or vote on the date. I believe the date vote is still up. So first things first is Darkness. Now, I will be doing some gameplay videos. They won't be of Darkness, but I'll just be speaking about Darkness in this video and what I think needs to happen to have it fixed. Most likely just needs a full rework. But this is kind of the baselines that I think need to happen outside of a rework, maybe just a slight tweak, numbers adjustment. But essentially how it functions right now is it's very difficult to have Darkness be your main ascendancy bonus. And that's because of this line right here. You have no spirit. Darkness without any additional investment outside of just taking Embrace the Darkness is a mediocre shield. It's 100 plus 8 per level, and then you get some increases in the tree here if you're taking all 6 points. I think this is only 4 points are super necessary, but you can theoretically get up to right around at level 96. I'll pull up a calculator so you can kind of see what the max is that you really get to. It's 100. And then I'll pull up another calculator so that you can see it. And then it's 8 times 96 for 768 plus 100. And let's say you do take all 10% nodes, that would be times 1.3. So our total darkness maximum would be 1,128 at level 96. You're not going to be level 96 very quickly, obviously, but just for the sake of argument, it's gained 1% of dark chaos damage per 20 unreserved darkness. So if we divide this by 20, this is essentially what darkness gives you, is a 56% damage as extra chaos. Here's the problem with that. Darkness has no innate bonus to AoE, and that is what is absolutely needed to make these ascendancy points work. I'm thinking something similar to the lines of Lich, where they have, if you've cursed an enemy, you can cause a chaos explosion. And as it stands now, Spirit is really the primary way that melee character monks scale AoE. Because if you look at my current build setup, Flicker Strike has no innate AoE, it's just single target hitting people. All of it, same with Ice Strike. Charge Staff is kind of AoE, maybe Storm Wave is kind of AoE, but not really. It doesn't really have the same effect. You're always attaching something to it, like Herald of Thunder, like Cast on Freeze with Volt Mark, or Cast on Critical and a spell that you're using. And obviously all of those things use Spirit. So without any Spirit, Darkness is just in this limbo where, yeah, okay, cool, we're getting some damage as extra chaos, but that damage as extra chaos is as good as a Ming's Heart. If I had this corrupted a little bit better, I could have the entire benefit of the Darkness Ascendancy outside of the shield that it gives in a ring slot. Like, there's not a lot of Ascendancies where the whole Ascendancy's power budget can be matched by a ring, which is insane to me that that's really the only thing that Darkness does. If you're investing 6 points, you get some damages extra, you get a shield that's worth roughly 1,000, and your energy shield, like, okay, so instead of 6168, my effective health pool would be 7,200. That's barely a 12% increase. So just not super underwhelming, and I really think the only viable builds with it right now are something with Coming Calamity, the unique chess piece that it provides heralds for you. But again, that chess piece has so little defensives that it just doesn't really make sense for us to try to utilize it. And then 2 would be like a spark build. Gas arrow used to be good, but they nerfed gas arrow and like the total amount of gas arrows that you can have out. But even that, like there was just better ways to scale gas arrow than via darkness. So spark is really like the last thing that's available with it. So what the ascendancy needs to be fixed is the chaos, the damage gained as extra chaos needs to be like 200%. And I'm not joking there. If it doesn't change, it needs to be 200% of damage as extra chaos because there's just no way to scale the AoE on this. So you need to give us so much damage that AoE doesn't, not having AoE doesn't hurt as much. And still, it would be very clunky in maps. We would just become a bossing powerhouse and we'd be a bit tankier than we normally would be. That's a band-aid fix. A rework fix would be something to the tune of naturally darkness is taken after energy shield and life as like an additional oh shit button, and then you just have the permanent damage as extra chaos without needing to do mind over matter and eldritch battery shenanigans where you don't technically have zero. Here's eldritch battery, here's mind over matter. You don't technically have, you know, energy shield or life in the first place with eldritch battery mind over matter, because this node does specifically say it'll be taken from life or energy shield. Darkness is taken before life and energy shield, not mana. So if you're taking all of your damage through mana, then that's what you would be experiencing on Embrace the Darkness here. So I just would say reverse that. Just make it naturally available so that you always have the damage bonus and you get a final oh shit shield at the very end of it. And maybe change this end node instead of darkness reservation duration. Again, give us some kind of AoE. So those are really like the two options that I would recommend as an Acolyte player of 1500 hours to really rework darkness into something that's usable, overbuff the shit out of the damage, and have this be like a spell casting side of the ascendancy. So things like Spark or Comet or whatever else you want to try to make work without Spirit can function just because you're getting a lot of damage as extra. Or 2, rework AoE into this and reverse the darkness setup where it's just a final oh shit shield and just damages extra chaos. And this is going to end up being a 6-point ascendancy anyway if you go the darkness path, so I really don't think it'll be overpowered. I still think a lot of people are going to go the flames, mana leech, ES leech route that is similar to my current build. That's my darkness spiel. The main other piece of information was going to be Infernallist. Infernallist is my plans for the private league on June 13th. As I mentioned earlier in the video, that's what we're going to be doing until 0.3 releases or until 0.2 gets a way major update, not just the one that's coming this week with like the new socketables, changes to uniques, things like that. We're going to be doing Flicker Strike Infernalist with the keystones Zealot's Oath. That's going to be our main defenses, is we're going to be recharging our energy shield. We're going to be going Pain Attunement with Coward's Legacy as our belt and Avatar of Fire, so that we'll be doing a permanent fire flicker, and we'll use a lot of the same tech from what we use now, but instead of Cast on Freeze, we'll use Cast on Ignite. So our AoE and our damage, I think our damage scaling can get even crazier than Acolyte because of the 50% critical damage bonus that you get from Infernalist and the 30% critical damage bonus that you get from Pain Attunement, which are always going to be rolling. And we do have some ways to offset the Ignite that you get afflicted with when you do critically strike as Infernalist. And Infernalist also solves mana on its own by using Infernal Flame instead of mana. Yes, you take fire damage, but we'll get into that some more. It's just kind of a quick sneak peek talk of what that is going to look like. So this was just more of a talk track so that you guys have an idea of what's going on with the channel. You'll have more major content coming via videos when the private league starts for these kind of update videos. Make sure to be checking out the streams at Twitch and YouTube, wherever you prefer. And that is where you can see content until I'm releasing more videos. So with that, subscribe if you haven't, leave a like, comment, ask about the private league, get your friends involved in the private league. Would love to have as many people in there as possible. Thanks so much, and we'll see you guys in the next video.